Hello. Good evening, everyone. This is me, Falguni Sarkar. On the behalf of Hack Club SIT, welcome you all to our seminar on the topic How to Become Data Scientist. We have our speaker, Rishabh Da. He is a data scientist from P360.
Yeah, thank you. Let me know if I'm audible.
Yes, yes,
Yes, you
you
are
are.
audible.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are audible.
Thank you. All
You
right.
can
Thank
continue,
you,
Dada.
Falguni. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Devajit. Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you to Devajit for inviting me. Thank you, Hack Club SIT. It's great to be here presenting you, something after a long time back in SIT. So, without any further delay, I'll start sharing my screen. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
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 Yeah, thank you. So, firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Risab Biswas. I'm a data scientist and presently I'm AI lead at P360. I'm also part of the Intel Software Innovator community. I've been part of the Software Innovator community from 2018. And recently, I also become a member of the Intel IoT Advisory Board, and I'm also an author. So that's a very brief introduction about myself. And so today we have all gathered here to understand, how to become a data scientist. So data scientist or data science is, a big hype word, which probably, every one of us have heard sometime, or, in one of the journals, it's even considered as the sexiest job of the 21st century. So we'll first see that, why we call it as, the sexiest job, or what data science is exactly. So typically, on your screen, as you can see, this is what a data scientist, everyone will feel that, they are doing. The friends will call them what they really think. But what this is definitely not something that they actually do, or definitely that's something not I actually do. So in order to understand data science or data scientist, we have to understand few of the things. So data science is not about making complicated models. It's not about making awesome visualization on different visualization tools. It definitely is not about writing code, but data science is all about making or creating impact as much as possible for a company, so that that company can scale up the things in a much optimal way. Now, to do all these things, we might need complicated models. We might need awesome visualizations, or we might need to write long scripts. So that's what data science is. So data science typically can come into different forms. It can come as product recommendations. It can come as next best actions. It can even come as, providing business insights to organizations where they have a large amount of data, and they are into, kind of a dark, where they do not have a lot of insights from their data, or if they want to make better planning or better strategies going forward with their business. So on an overall note, that's what data science is. We'll definitely see it in a detailed manner. So this is a typical Venn diagram. This is a beautiful visualization of different aspects of data science, machine learning, deep learning, business analytics, and computer science. So on your right, you can see we have all the statistical and mathematics there. So these are classical models, statistics that we have learned in probably in our schools, or, in our those who are studying statistics in undergraduate. So that's all the mathematical components. Now, apart from that, we have also the computer science aspect, where we write code, where we understand how to make a machine work, because everything that we want to do, eventually an idea has to be put there as a code so that the machine can execute it. So that's the bottom line. Apart from that, we have business peoples. We have the business peoples who actually understand the thing, who actually know how the thing works in real life, what the aspects of different business marketing and product selling and sales and everything is there, that's all business. So if we see that, data science comes as, in the middle of everything. So if you are a computer science, or, you know how to write code, statistics and maths, you understand the business as well, you're bang on. You know what data science is. You are good to go become a data scientist. But at the same time, you can see different aspects. You are from a computer science background. You know how to write you know how to write code. You know mathematics. You know statistics. You are not worried a lot about the business aspects. You can create those machine learning models. You're good to go become a machine learning engineer. You cannot be a data scientist in that case. So there are different places, different ways of looking at these things. Then we also have business analytics. You must have heard that people do MBAs and BBAs on business analytics and stuff like that. So they mainly know the business very well. They know how to analyze the data. They have studied statistics and mathematics, different aspects of that. But they might not be computer scientists. They don't know how to code, but they can be a business analyst. They can become business analysts. So these are different types of roles. We have software engineering, we have software development roles. So this is a basic rough idea to give you an intuition that what computer science is, what mathematics is, and what business is. Because going forward, definitely in today's session or post today's session, you will definitely need all these aspects going forward, so that you can be you can actually plan your roadmap. You can anticipate each of these areas. You can get into depth whichever you want to, and can plan your career path ahead. So the first and foremost important thing that I want to talk about going forward on data science is what machine learning. So we have heard of the term artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence in a broader sense is nothing but the way of making machines smarter. It's about taking automated decisions. It can adapt on certain conditions. It can take actions based on certain stimulus or inputs. So that's all on the artificial intelligence. So long back, in early 1980s, 1990s, there used to be a lot of work in artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is not a new field, even if many people will say that, it's a big hype right now. It's actually not. The research has been, going on for almost, 30, 40 years. There has been, like, the basic thing is the Turing machine. You will definitely come to know about that. So all those aspects are definitely coming from a long back. There is a rich history of that. But recently, artificial intelligence back then was not supported by a lot of data. So what scientists used to do is they used to derive mathematical equations, which you might have heard about something called as fuzzy logic. So they used to have fuzzy logics and create different equations based on mathematics on how a system performs. And then they used to make those systems smarter by that. But later on, with evolution of internet, particularly, I think the whole of this entire scenario changed as soon as the internet came into picture. So we started gathering a lot of data. Google came into picture, which was a big breakthrough from data perspective. They started gathering all the data from their search engines. So later on, when we had a lot of data to look at, so the artificial intelligence scientists or the AI scientists started using their own equations which they had created long back, and started implementing new models based on the available data. So from there, we have the evolution of machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but where we have a lot of data, where we have to make the machine understand from the data, or from history of data, or how a machine works. So it's pretty simple that how a machine learns. So we as a human being learn from the experiences. So let me give you a very brief example of what machine learning is. Say, for example, there is a small kid, maybe a 2 years old kid. You hand over him something saying that, see, this is a water bottle. So firstly, he will look at it. probably try to chew it or, throw a bit. But slowly, every day when you tell him that, okay, this is a water bottle, this is a water bottle, this is a water bottle, he'll slowly start getting that perception. So this is nothing but getting your kid learning from the experience or the data. The data is nothing but that water bottle that you are showing to him. The inputs are coming from his ears and his eyes. He is getting those sensory inputs from your commands, and then he is in his neurons, in his mind's neural networks, he is slowly getting that training done. So that is how we are trying to establish what a machine learning agent looks like. So that's a very brief example, but there are lots of applications into it. There are lots of intuitions behind it, but that was a very kind of a brief example on how we can actually intuitively look at these things. So apart from that, we also have something like a deep learning. Deep learning is something that I would not like to touch right now, but it's something that needs a much broader discussion. It's more about when we have images, voice, text involved, and something where we have kind of a multi-neuron perceptron. So in all these AI and machine learning, what we try to do is similar to our biological system, similar to our human body's neuron. We have a neuron, and in machine learning, we are calling it as a perceptron. So a perceptron is a single neuron and we are trying to build a network of all these perceptrons so that it can take the input, do the mathematical computation, and give me the output based on the learning. So in that case, when we are creating a multi-layered perceptron where we are trying to mimic the human intelligence at most, in that case, we heavily depend on deep learning, and that definitely involves a vast amount of data, not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of images or, voice, text, and some things like that. So these are some of the machine learning in practice. So definitely this is, the era of self-driving cars. Tesla is heavily working on this. Comma.ai is working on this, and there's a lot of work going on self-driving cars. We have Siri and Google's own voice assistant, and then we have Amazon Alexa as well. So all those systems are nothing but AI system or machine learning based system where they are understanding the inputs given through our voice, and then they take certain actions. We have implemented different games. We have trained AI agents that can actually play and win different games. So one of them is AI based chess. So this has been different. Long back we have implemented this. So this is nothing new. But this Google's AlphaGo is something that is very very groundbreaking from a deep learning or AI perspective, because if you know the game of Go, so I would highly recommend that you go and see how the game of Go works. And there is also a movie called as AlphaGo. So it was a wonderful breakthrough by the team of DeepMind engineers. DeepMind was later acquired by Google. So they they have beaten the world champion, and that was a major breakthrough. So apart from that, if you remember, those who used to have Facebooks long back, there was like previously we used to tag people's by, actually clicking on their faces and typing names. But right now, Facebook has created AI algorithms that can actually, give you suggestions that, you want to tag that person based on, if that person is present in the picture that you have uploaded or not. So that's also a very wonderful application of AI. Optical character recognition is something that we also have here. So optical character recognition can also help us in a lot of way in solving a lot of problems. Human simulations, robotics, industrial robotics, and all these are no more, are definitely, no-brainer to all those people. We definitely have seen a lot of these use cases around, and recent research is also working on doing remote or tele surgeries. Things like teleexistence and, haptics are something that is very useful in these cases. So that was, on a broader sense that what data science is, or, what machine learning is. And now when we are talking about data scientists, it's definitely important to know that, what are the roles of a data scientist. So typically I, as a data scientist, or, any other data scientist, definitely spends a lot of time in gathering data. So that data can be structured as well as in unstructured. So in most of the cases, we receive unstructured data from all the different systems. So we have CRM systems, we have people using different applications. So all the data from those applications comes into databases, and we have to get those data into a structured format. As well as, at many times we might not have all the data that might help us in finding some key insights. So in that case, we rely on open source data. There are various sources of open source data. We try to find out if we can get something, and we can, again, all of those data are unstructured data. Now, depending upon our use cases, we have to structure them. So, heavily a data scientist, spends most of his time in gathering and, structuring the data. So that's a very, very crucial part of your job. So you cannot skip this part at all. The next thing is that once we have the unstructured data, we have to provide analysis. Before creating any machine learning model, we have to first understand that, without any of those algorithms, what the data has to provide in terms of insights. So we try to find them, we create graphs, we create different plots so that it should be intuitive to the business people. So it's very important from a data scientist perspective that you do not go to a business person and show them code. So this is as much as important for a software developer or any of the fields, where we should not be going to the business person and showing them, codes and things like that. So there has to be some illustrative way. There has to be some intuitive way of looking at the things. So that's where data analytics plays a key role. And from there, the organizations or the business people can take certain actions, and they can understand the data well. Apart from that, we also do, so once we do the data analysis, then comes, the most important part, that is your analytical aspect, where we are actually using the algorithms, different machine learning, NLP based techniques to actually unravel the hidden patterns. So in this particular step of data analytics, we are just looking at the data from a very high level perspective. We are not doing any data wrangling. We are not trying to do a lot of mathematical computations. But in the next step, we do a lot of mathematical computations. We create those algorithms, and then we try to find out what are the hidden patterns which are not obvious to the business persons. And, at many times we might be thinking that, something might work in the way that we have thought, and which completely doesn't work when, we get into the real life situation. So this is a very good example like I can take, is that, say for example, you are getting a product out in the market. So you think that, giving too many coupons, or, giving rewards on that product purchase will give you a lot of sales of that product. So that's your strategy. That's your orthodox thinking, that you are expecting that, if you are giving too much coupons on the product, you are giving discounts that will heavily help you. But that might not be the case within weeks of the product release. So you have to be very skeptical that, you should rephrase your strategies based on what has really happened in the market and what could happen if you continue taking this strategy. So you have to be very sure that, you are not doing any of those too much of, discounts or marketing. Your spends has to be optimized, because you don't want to spend the money more on your marketing and, you know, uh, things than you are actually getting from the sales. So that return on investment has to be optimized always. So in that case, a data scientist definitely plays a big role going forward, because every business person, it's starting from the business analyst to the CEO of the company, heavily rely on their data science team, so that they can actually give them directions that, okay, my product is out in the market, tell me what I can do to get the most out of it in terms of sales, reach, whatever it could be. So definitely the second point is already covered, that we need to have data-driven approaches to solve complex business problems. And then, we have to clean data, optimize it, uh, try different algorithms to increase the accuracy and efficacies, how to make a state-of-the-art model, how to beat the benchmark. So all those kinds of things we have to think about it. Also, one of the very important role of a data scientist, as I mentioned, is to communicate all his findings. So from an engineering perspective, it's not important that, once you made the models, you have the accuracy, you have the precision recall, you have all those mathematical aspects, you are done. No, you are not done. You are supposed to take your findings, take your results, and explain that to the product engineers, to the marketing team, to the sales team, to all the stakeholders, to make sure that, whatever you have created does make sense to them as well, because it might be mathematically validated by you, but being a data scientist, your validation is not approved till it is getting validated by the persons, the product engineers, or the marketing team and the sales team. So those are very, very crucial going forward as a data scientist. So now the biggest question is, why become a data scientist? So this is a small statistics I have taken from Glassdoor. So this is a list of top 50 best jobs in America for 2019 and 2020. So clearly you can see on 2019, data scientist was the number one job in United States. The median salary was whooping $108,000, which is a lot of money. And then we also should definitely see the job satisfaction index. So it's a great job satisfaction index. In 2020, the things changed a little, but still you can see the job satisfaction is still great. The median salary is still a lot. So definitely, this is something it's high time to start learning data science right now, because the demands are there, the salaries are there, and there is a lot to learn from different stakeholders. So on a broader sense, why do you need to be a data scientist? The first and foremost thing I would say is that you will acquire a lot of skills. It's not important to look at the perks from a salary perspective, or it's not definitely important. The important thing is that how much driven you are from the from the insights, or what you actually do. You should be self-motivated, and that should be driving you to become a data scientist. So you will see that your insights directly impacts the sales for the company. You will be directly working with all the cross domains. This is not something that you do a 9 to 5 job where you have certain tasks assigned, you do it, and then you are done for your day. But this is more of a cross-functional job where you have to talk with different peoples, whether it is from the business people or from your higher authorities, all the stakeholders, and CEOs, marketing, and everyone. So you'll have to do a lot of cross-functional development, in the sense that you have to get in conversation with other teams, what the apps team is doing, what the infrastructure team is doing, what the DevOps team is doing, how well we can, create the front end, back end. So all those things are very crucial being a data scientist. So this is a very big perk as a job satisfaction, I would say, that, you will love working with all the cross functional peoples. Definitely, one of the other thing is that evolution in the field. This is a field where you have a lot to learn. You have a lot to understand in terms of from different people. You can understand a lot of things, and there is definitely a lot of growing opportunity going forward. You will have a lot of opportunities you can see in front of you from organizational perspective as well as individual perspective. This is something job which is definitely growing in demands. The biggest reason it is growing in demands is because of the amount of data that we are generating. Just imagine how much data we generate through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all these apps, like, we are generating tons of data. So all these data has to be used some way to make a meaning out of it. So in that case, we have all these big companies who have their data science team figuring this out. Uh, there is also saying that it is easy to grab a job. So this is definitely easy to grab a job as long as you are willing to put the effort. I think this is this works, or for every field. This is not only for data science, but this is in general, for every field, that as long as you are ready to put the effort, you'll definitely find a place for yourself in the industry. So another reason here is that we have this easy to grab job because of the growing demands. So when we have a lot of growing demands, the jobs are there. If you go and see LinkedIn, you will find tons of jobs. Like PayPal releases every day a data science job. So there are very big companies as well as there are startups who are working on this. And then the last thing is that not the last thing, but one of the most important thing is the unbeaten salary. So I'll definitely talk about the salaries as well. So next thing is that, one of the biggest thing is that you will be your own boss when it comes about, making an impact. You will definitely be the person who will be most impactful when everyone is, kind of a dark where they don't know what to do. So you will be the savior at that time. So don't worry, you will get to have a lot of opportunities to grow in your career. So apart from that, we have also seen that there are variety of skills that you will be actually learning, whether it is software development, whether it is DevOps, databases, mathematics and statistics, business understanding. You will also be a decision maker because, as I mentioned, I cannot stress this more, that people will be looking at you at times that tell me that what I can do, tell me that what could be my next best action. So you have to be very much decisive about that. Definitely communication skills and presentation skills is something that will help you a lot going forward. So you will get to know a lot of tools and libraries. So I've just put a variety of tools and libraries that you will be learning going forward into this journey. So these are some of the tools: Python, PyTorch, SciPy, and all these are trending tools in the field of data science and machine learning, deep learning, whatever you can call it. So these are definitely going to be very helpful for you. So I was talking about the salaries. So on your screen, you can see, like, this is the average salary that a data scientist can get. That is 1,000 rupee, 100, I think 1,000 K, whatever that is. So that basically is nothing but 10 lakhs. So on an average, a data scientist earns 10 lakhs a year maybe. And there are different aspects of data science salaries as well. Like a big data engineer can get up to 84,000 a month, a data analyst, so this number is pretty low. A data analyst definitely earns more. You can definitely think that. And then there are also, like, quantitative analysts, and based on your seniority as well, you will have different hikes and everything. But the bottom line is that this is a job which is heavily paid. The reason is that there are less people who know data science. There are less people who understand the business. As I've already mentioned, it's not only important that how well you can write code, how well you understand the model. That's just a I would say 30%. The rest 70% is how well you can portray the things, how well you can make the other people understand, how well you understand the business, and most importantly, how well you can adapt into different situations. Because this is industry, or this is a domain where people will have a lot of expectations from you. They will look at you with a lot of expectation. They will ask questions to you. They will look for answers. So at that time, you cannot show them your back, or you cannot back off. So there is no, if you do that, then your possibilities of growing in your career is very less. So you cannot definitely do that. So this is very important when you are into early stages. When you are in a position of 10 years or 15 years into your careers, you'll be very senior, and in that case, you will have you would not be having all these problems doing all these things. You will be much experienced, but in your early days you definitely have to put a lot of hard work in doing that. So data science is definitely a field where you have lot to learn, lot to understand. Salaries are good, but at the same time you should definitely have the mindset of always learning. If you are stagnant, if you are not the person who like to do experiments, then data science is definitely not for you. You can pick any of the other domains for yourself and can pursue your career, but data science is definitely not for you. So these are some of the salary insights. We talk about all these big companies: Capgemini, Microsoft, Tata Consultancy Services, Cognizant. So these are some of the average salaries that they give to the data scientists. Now, again, these salaries are subjected to what role they are giving. These salaries might not be for freshers. They might be looking at some experienced persons, but I have taken only from the big tech companies. Now, the startups are definitely providing much more salaries than these, and they have much more growing opportunities, but the work is definitely much more larger in startups than these like big tech companies. So this was all about the salaries and how we can do it. So if not at all with anything, you can be motivated with the salaries that you will get, or the perks that you will get, and probably that could be a driving factor for you. If not anything else works for you, definitely maybe the salaries might work for you. So the next big thing is how to become a data scientist, and from there our journey starts. Till now we have seen that how what data science is, what machine learning is, what typically a data scientist does in terms of workflows and everything. But now it's time to see that how you could become a data scientist. So one of the important aspect that I want to touch base at the very beginning is that if you are a student or if you are a professional from any of the industry, it doesn't matter if you're studying electrical engineering, if you're studying civil engineering, if you're studying mechanical, if you are a BSc student, if you are a, you are doing, BCA, MCA, it could be anything. Even if you are, from a mathematics background, a mathematics graduate, physics graduate, still you can be a data science. You can get into the data science domain and you can become a data scientist. There is no such implications. The industry is wide open. The expectations are very different. There is no such expectation that you have to be qualified in these. Yes, definitely there are jobs, there are companies who are willing to take, people from computer science background, but it's not true for every other industry. So they like not every other company. So there are different industry, and then there are different companies. So industry as in like there is a pharma or healthcare industry, then there is a retail industry, then there is, we have supply chain, then we have these goods and carriages. So all these, and then we have e-marketing like Flipkart, Amazon, all these big tech companies or, startups. So there are different domains. So you can see that I have roughly estimated, like, from which percentage, how much, people are coming. So even people from physics, chemistry, or, biological backgrounds, they are coming and becoming, data scientists. So a very good example would be that AlphaGo that I talked about. The DeepMind, the company which created it, their CEO, Demis Hassabis, he is a PhD in neuroscience. He was never into any computer science or coding industry. He's a PhD in neuroscience. So definitely, going forward, if you are from a biology background, even definitely this could be very helpful for you, because trends like bioinformatics and things like we are getting a lot of things. Definitely in biomedical also, there is a lot of research going on. People are trying to take all the data from biomedical sources and try to make insights out of it. And definitely this is very useful during this COVID situation. So we have seen results coming out from these domains. So let's start that, how you can do it. So definitely don't be like this boy. Don't skip the basics. First, you have to learn the basics. AI, machine learning, big data, IoT, robotics, all these things might be very much fascinating. You can go ahead and write a post on your Facebook. Few people will like it, few will share it. You can get, you can get all those things, but definitely that will not help you in pursuing a career. So be patient and start from the basics. So the first and foremost thing to become a data scientist, so I would not consider being a data scientist at a very beginning. I would first say that, try to learn these things from a, computer science perspective. Now, these are some of the things which definitely, necessarily requires an engineering degree. So even if you do not have an engineering degree, you can learn all these things. These are very basic and very, common thing. So the term CS in computer science, I like to call it as a common sense. So CS stands for common sense, but not computer science. So all these things are definitely very intuitive. So the first and foremost important thing I would say is go ahead and learn algorithms and data structure. Without that, you should definitely think about, you should not think about pursuing a career on that. So the resources that I would like to talk about here in terms of books, this is the Bible of every computer science engineering student. If they have not read this book, definitely they have not done their computer science engineering. This is the book called Coreman. We also call it the CLRS book, Coreman, and then the other authors are there. This is a wonderful book for algorithms. This is a must read for every student. So this is something that definitely will also get from your colleges and everything. So you'll get this book. Apart from that, these are some of the websites where you can find useful resources. Geeks for Geeks is definitely one of my favorites. CodeChef, without any doubt, if you are into computer science or coding, you definitely know what CodeChef is. I don't have to tell you. Apart from that, HackerRank, Hacker Earth, all those are already there. Apart from that, this is also a wonderful book where you can learn different algorithms, learn different aspects of data structure, how to implement them, and understand a lot of things. Now you can ask me one question that, what's the goal of learning all these algorithms and data structure? The biggest goal of understanding all these algorithms and data structures is to build a logical thinking. Building a perception is very, very important. So once you build that perception where you can logically think about these things, you can solve a problem, you can take out some time, do some pen and paper work where you are thinking through a problem, you are spending 2 hours, 3 hours just to figure out what could be the solution of my problem. So that's very important when you are going for a data science career. You cannot go ahead and start writing code. It's not like that. You have to first understand the problem, what the demand is, what the business people are looking at, what's the problem I'm supposed to solve. Once you are able to do that, then the rest of the part is just doing the thing. But most of the part, 80% of the part is actually thinking that how you can do it. So that's why learning algorithms and data structure is definitely very, very important. So apart from that, you need to know statistics and mathematics. Now, again, you do not have to go into a lot of details of mathematics. I would definitely not tell you that. These are some of the areas that you can definitely look at. So I'm going to tell you why you are when you will need these things. So first thing is linear algebra. So and matrix for factorizations, or all the metrics and everything. So if you think about it in this way, that every image, or every all these, say, just for an example, let's take an image. So an image is an image to a human mind, but computer doesn't understand an image. So what it understands is only number. It just sees, whenever you give an image to it, it just sees 30,000 numbers. So in order to make that representation, in order to make sure that what that image looks like, we are going to use matrix representations. So there are various ways of looking at that. There is color components, there is grayscale components, and all those things. So in that case, you need to understand that how a matrix works, how a convolution works, what are the matrix applications, what are the matrix, how do we do summation, how do we do factorization, and all those things. Apart from that, when you are doing something like a regression, or eventually every machine learning model can be represented in some form of equation. So you have to understand that you cannot go and skip this part. This is very, very important. If you do not know how to represent your model from a mathematical aspect, then you'll be trouble, not with the business people, but definitely a statistician can come and ask you question that, explain me your model from a mathematical perspective. I want to know that what you have done. Again, calculus is there. Very basic things are required. You are not supposed to do Fourier transformation or Laplace transformation. That is something definitely not used in in computer science background, but those are different stuff done in mostly in signal processing and stuff like that. But in calculus, what you really need is things like maxima and minima, because once you have your model done in the form of equation, now then you have to reduce the error. To reduce the error, we use maxima and minima. So it's the same stuff that you have learned in your plus two. You have learned maxima, how to maximize a function given a function fx, how to do derivative and maximize it, minimize it. So you all know it. Apart from that, graph theory is very, very important. It's a part of the data structure and algorithms. So you'll definitely need it to do a lot of representation works, as well as algorithms like traveling salesman, finding shortest path and everything could be something that you might have to work a lot. So those engineers who are working on Google Maps or those kinds of things, they are heavily relying on many graph based algorithms. So you have to understand that you are looking at the things from that perspective. Apart from that, we also have different probability and combinatorics aspects. So probability is something that is also very, very crucial. So you have to make sure that you know all these aspects very well, because everything in machine learning is in terms of probability. Then we have statistical analysis, mean, variance, standard deviation, average. These are something that you cannot skip. You'll need it probably every day, single day that you work as a data scientist. We have binomial distributions, we have different data distributions and summary statistics. So once we have all these, then we have our open source languages, and then we have different tools that we can actually use. So in order to use all these tools, we have some of the open source tools I have listed. So here you can see I have listed Python and R, and there are other tools as well. And we have SAS or MATLAB. And my recommendation would be to use something like a Python, which is more useful in a wide variety of situations. R is, if you already know it, then it's good. Otherwise, I would not suggest spending too much of time in understanding that R or something. MATLAB, which used to be used long back, and then SAS is definitely not open source. This is a costly tool, but I would suggest you start with Python. If you know R, then it's good, but I would suggest that you can start with Python. There are different things in Python that you actually know, you need to know from development perspective, that will be an integral part of your learning. Things like pandas, matplotlib, Jupyter, Anaconda, SciPy, and all these are definitely useful tools which you will use every day to create all these models and everything. Now the thing is that how you are going to learn all these things, how you are going to do how you are going to learn the machine learning aspects. So the first and foremost important thing is I would highly recommend go ahead and take Andrew Ng's Coursera course. This course is free, maybe not on Coursera, but this is available freely on YouTube. This is like, you cannot skip it. This is a must-have, course. This is a little mathematical. You will not do a lot of coding for sure, but this will be a very good course from a foundational perspective. Then we have, Python for Data Science and Machine Learning Bootcamp. So this is available on Udemy. I think this course costs around 400 rupees. I would not suggest buy anything yet. You can find all these courses. You know where to search it. I would not say that. So you know how to search these courses and where to find them. So if you open that website, you will find all those courses. You need not buy anything. Apart from that, there are different blogs. I would highly recommend you to, constantly, every day, if you can spend some time in reading these blogs. Different, authors come together and write blogs in these sites. So first is Analytics Vidya, Towards Data Science is something, KD Nuggets, all these are very useful site. Medium to some extent, because Medium right now have lots of implications on readability in terms of they ask for money. This is not free, but dev.to is something that I would suggest. You can definitely have a look at these. And then, if you are more into reading books, or if you like to read books, I personally don't like to read books, so I try to read blogs and watch videos as much as possible. But if you are into books, so definitely you can try Hands-on Machine Learning with Scikit Learn, Keras, and TensorFlow. Again, you might not have to purchase all these books except the third book. You will find PDFs for all those remaining books, so you need not buy anything. Have the PDF, try to give it a read, and these books also contain Python codes, so you can implement these Python codes in with different data sets, and try to see that how these things works. So you can try Think Stats. I would say don't go with the second edition. Go with the first edition. The second edition is for exploratory data analysis. And for the other book in statistics, if you need something, I have the book Business Statistics. I would try to show you that book at the end of the session. You can definitely buy that book. That book is definitely not a Python book or a coding book, but that's more of a mathematical book where you will have to do mathematical equations by yourself. So it's a wonderful book. You can definitely give it a try. Approaching almost any machine learning problem, not a beginner friendly book. Disclaimer at the very beginning, I'm saying it's not a beginner friendly book. Once you know the algorithms, then it's good to have them. And it's a very good book on hands-on if you want to get your hands dirty with all the codes and everything. If you are a code first person rather than a theoretical person, I would highly recommend going with the third book, that is Approaching Almost Any Machine Learning Problem. Feature Engineering is another book, not a very beginner friendly book. You might not need it at the very beginning, because working on a lot of data sets, you might not have to do a lot of feature engineering. So all those feature engineering perspective, you might already, be able to see done by the authors. So you do not have to separately do any feature engineering. So these are also some of the popular YouTube channels that you should definitely follow. So first and foremost, Krish Nayak, he's an Indian YouTuber. He's doing a wonderful job in creating the contents for machine learning, deep learning, statistics, NLP. He has created almost every, he has touched based on almost every topics, and he has created separate playlists so that users can easily find out, or the viewers can easily find out what they need. Apart from that, Sendex is also very useful. You can use it, but before going to Sendex, I would suggest go with StatQuest. StatQuest is a wonderful YouTube channel with a lot of informations and very intuitively put together. Then we have Deep Lizard. Code Basics also you can follow. Abhishek Thakur's channel is also very good when you want to learn that, how to create modular code, how to write good quality code, how to take the things into production, how to run the codes into production and things like that. So that could be very helpful. Not again, you will not get a lot of beginner friendly, material in Abhishek Thakur's channel. Now, now that you know how to do all these things, in terms of learning. So once you get into this learning, you need to enhance your skills every day. You need a platform, because, this is very, this is for everything that we do. If you know how to play a sports, and if you do not play it, you do not learn it, you do not master it. So in order to master it, you need to do practice a lot. So in order to do that practice, you can go to kaggle.com. Kaggle is a wonderful place where you can learn all these things from different authors. There are people who are competing with each other on different competitions. There are notebooks created where you can actually see other people's code and stuff like that. And again, analytics vidya also have a lot of things, so you can definitely give it a try. You can read article. So every day you should be putting some time in reading articles, creating models in the sense that, build machine learning models, try to find out data sets. So all those open source data set, Kaggle is a very rich source of data which are publicly available. So you can get all those things. Apart from that, once you are into a lot of data science stuff you are doing, maybe 2-3 years you are already into it, you can start reading a lot of research papers, so that you are up to date with the industry aspect, that what's happening, what's the new cutting edge tool that is being or the new cutting edge algorithm that is being released. So you can definitely put a lot of time on reading these research papers and stuff like that. Apart from that, I would say that, have a thorough understanding of the algorithms, try to read other people's code, go on GitHub, see that, what code they have written. You might don't do copy and paste, just see that how they have, done, understand it, try it yourself. Even if you're copying and pasting, give them citations. That is a that definitely something that you should be doing, because they have put their hard work on getting those codes publicly to everyone. You are not no one is stopping you to use those codes, but use those codes and give proper citations. That is definitely, very ethical to do something. Follow fellow ML data science enthusiasts. This is something that I would highly recommend, because when I was a student, I never did this. Back then, we never had this, have those mindsets of having all these platforms. So these were like, platforms for us. These were like, if we can do it, it's good, but this is only for, getting jobs or posting something. But this is definitely not. So platform like LinkedIn and Twitter is not a place, only to show your expressions, but it's also very important to see that, what other peoples are doing. So in the sense that, you should be able to understand that, where you stand in the entire, enthusiast, among the all other enthusiasts, where do you stand? You can judge yourself, you can evaluate yourself, and you can learn a lot of those things. So definitely follow the other enthusiasts on these platforms. That will definitely help you a lot going forward. And the second last point that I have, written is learn from others' mistakes, learn from others' codes. So that is definitely important. The other thing is that do pet projects. So when I say pet projects, I mean that, do projects by yourself. Make a small group if you want, if you are willing to do projects on group. If you want to do things on individual level, you can create individual projects as well. There is nothing like that. So do projects, and that will help you a lot going forward. So to get into a data science career, the first and foremost thing I would say is that don't do a lot of certifications. Don't spend a lot of time in doing certifications that, you can get certifications from different platforms. They even charge money. So you don't have to spend a lot of money doing all these certifications. So there are websites like Simply Learn, Edureka, and all those, they will ask for money. They will give you a certificate. Their content might be good, but as I mentioned, if you are spending money for content, there is no need of that. Everything is available freely on internet. Everything is available on YouTube. So people like Krish Naik have given a lot of effort in creating all these contents for you. Don't spend any money at the very beginning. You're not earning anything from your certification, so why would you like to spend anything? I would definitely not recommend spending any money at any cost, definitely on these things. Okay, so don't do any certifications for now. Do projects. So that is definitely important. So do projects. So on your resume, when you are writing that, I have done these many certificates versus I have done these many projects. So your projects will definitely have more impact going forward rather than your certifications, because your certifications, the people who are interviewing you definitely knows that these certification, if you give the money, you can earn the certification, or the tests that are being conducted to earn that certificates are never too much difficult to crack on, because otherwise, people will say that I have paid my money, I have given the exam, I didn't crack it, so are you not going to give me my money back, or you have to give me the certificate? So in that case, the companies will definitely give them the certificate. So in order to have an impactful resume, or if you want to showcase that you really know data science, or you are really a master, so you should do projects. So this is not only for data science, but this is for almost everything, that even if you want to be a software engineer, if you want to be a data analyst or anything, do projects. So just for an example, I can say that you can, if you are saying, if you are going into the interview, and you are sitting in front of the interviewing panel, and you just say one liner that I am a 7-star on CodeChef, or I am a ACM ICPC regional qualifier. They'll not ask anything. They will just have your CV aside, and then they will start having a conversation with you. They will, because they already know that your CV, or your certificate doesn't have anything to do anymore. You are a ACM ICPC regional qualifier. Your title speaks it all, that how much capable you are. So try to be something like that. Do not do a lot of these certifications or things like that. Spend time in getting yourself better in terms of the knowledge. Okay. Apart from that, you can definitely do share a lot of projects on LinkedIn and Twitter. So back then, again, we do not used to share a lot, or even I have seen that people do not share a lot. They do wonderful projects, but they do not share. Now what happens is, right now the trend is changing. If you share something, many of the peoples are looking at it. The recruiters are looking at this. The people from the industry are looking at this. You might get an opportunity to work for them. So definitely this is highly advisable that you should share your projects, and on LinkedIn, Twitter, whichever platform you like, but don't tell me that you shared it on Facebook and you didn't get any response from anyone. So that's definitely not going to work. So you should share them on LinkedIn or Twitter. Apart from that, I would highly suggest participate on hackathons. These hackathons are a wonderful, place of learning. You will meet a lot of people. You will meet industry experts. Right now, even because of the COVID situation, you might not have lot of offline hackathons, but online hackathons are there. So you can definitely go and have a participation there. Just to, understand, you need not win the hackathon. So winning is not the goal. The goal is to understand that how the scenario is. That will actually give you a lot of confidence. Organize meetups, be a part of the community. So just like Hack Club is there are lots of other good communities. So again, back in our time, there was not a lot of community activities the way right now. I see colleges have. Even I think in SIT we have Hack Club, we have DSC, we have Girls Script, and then GDG Shiliguri is also there. So all these are already there. So a lot of scope is there for you. Get a title on Kaggle. As a data science enthusiast, this is the best thing that you can get. If you can get a title on Kaggle, you'll definitely get a job faster than others. So that's for sure. Create a good resume. Make sure that your resume is not too long. It is ATS compatible. So ATS compatibility is nothing but a test, because right now all these resumes are not scanned manually. These are automated tested. So your resume should be ATS compatible. Otherwise, you will continue being applying to the jobs and you will never get a call, because your resume screening is not done rightly. Your resume is, every time it is getting rejected by the ATS scanner. So make sure your resume is ATS compatible. Apply for internships. A lot of internships are there. Don't be too choosy. I would say don't be too choosy right now. The best thing to do, if you are being choosy, why don't you do this way? You take the internship and then tell them that I don't want to join. do that. If you have guts, you do that. Otherwise, don't be too choosy. I really don't like that. So if you want to get into a career, definitely internship can be very helpful. Even if you are not getting a lot of paid internships, like even if you are getting paid minimal, it's a good way of getting started. You have something in your hand. Keep working, keep manage the things in between, and eventually, you might end up in landing a job. Because see, so far whatever I have discussed, you might think that there are a lot of things in data science. So the same thing goes from the industry perspective. They want experts, they want senior people, they want experienced people who can come and do the work from day one. They do not need anyone who will take 1 week or 2 weeks just to understand the things. So that's why doing internships can very much helpful for you. And that's why, like, the market is a little saturated for freshers, but it's definitely not the case that freshers cannot be data scientists. Definitely everyone is a fresher. I was also a fresher when I joined. So definitely internship is the first step to be a data scientist. So once you do all those things, you'll be a data scientist like Tom, who knows all these things, who know what to mix with, what to get, the masterpiece out of it. So you can definitely, try all those things and understand. And there are different data science profile. I would not say data science profile, but you can see, like, if you understand these topics, you can apply for these many roles. You need not apply for data scientist only. You can apply for machine learning engineer only, where they only work on machine learning models. You can be a data analyst. You can be a data engineer. So based on these, criterias, you can definitely work on different roles. So you can apply on different roles. It's not that you have to apply for data scientist only. One of the very good thing is that once you get into a data analyst role, maybe in 2-3 years, you will be getting a promotion to data scientist. Once you get into a machine learning engineer, in 1 or 2 years, you might be promoted to a data scientist. Same goes for a data engineer. So it's not that, you can never be a data scientist with these roles. Once you're getting into these roles, you will get promoted to data scientist someday. So that's why, like, having all these options available on your plate is also very helpful. So this is a brief about my journey. So I did my schooling from a lot of different schools. My father was in army, so I traveled across the country. Eventually, I came to Jalpaiguri, which is a town in West Bengal. I did my schooling from Jalpaiguri Zilla School, which is a government school. So I took computer science in my 10 plus 2. I never did computer science in my school. So CBSE have a very bad computer science curriculum, that I must say, from ICSE. So CBSE has a very bad, at least I don't know, like in Kendra Vidyalayas, we used to have terrible computer science curriculum. All we used to do in the computer lab was to either make arts on paint. When we were in 8th standard or 9th standard, we used to go and have fun on the computer lab. So that was a fun part for us. So we never learned anything. So in 10 plus 2, I took computer science. It ended up being a horrible decision for me. I was not able to understand what binary is, how to convert a binary to hexadecimal. I was really bad at that. I was messing up the things. So eventually I switched to biology, and it turned out to be a much more mess for me. I just passed my biology exam in plus 2 by some margin. So in 2014, I started studying BTech. So again, I thought that, right now I can flip the coin. It's my chance. Let's see. I took CSE, and again, in the first year, it was horrible for me. I was not understanding anything, but later on, I got teachers who helped me a lot, not from my college, but from else. They helped me a lot. They helped me understanding the basics of it. Now, then I slowly started developing my interest. So back in school itself, I was very much fascinated with the field of robotics. So in 2015, I get in touch with some of my seniors. Luckily, one of the senior is my colleague in my present office. So I spoke to him. He gave me his equipments. He said that, this is this Arduino board and everything. You can create these line follower bots and everything. If you want to have it, these are costly. You cannot afford it. So I have it. You can take it from me. So I took it. I did it. So that was really fascinating for me. So I started thinking that, I need to get into my computer science basics. I need to get my basics done, as well as I need to understand the subjects in a much more depth. So in 2015, I started preparing for GATE Computer Science. That was the golden phase of my life, because that completely changed my perception towards computer science. I started learning the things in a much better way. So I was a topper in my department, because of which I got the Devang Mehta Excellence Award in 2016. Then finally in 2017, that is my final year of undergraduate, I was never into industry. I always thought that I'm going to do MTech. I'm not sitting for any of the placements. So the first placement that I sat for was Cerner Technologies. This happened in Kolkata. Uh, I got rejected in the first round. That is your aptitude. Aptitude. I was rejected, but I was very happy because my friends were also rejected, because I never wanted to come back alone from Kolkata to Siliguri. That's why I was really happy that I don't have to travel all alone. In 2017, I got rejected by Intel for the first time when the Intel came into our campus. So it was a telephonic interview. Again, they came into our campus for a second round of interview, but unfortunately, I was not given a chance to sit for the placement. Later on in February, I gave my GATE exam. I wasn't able to, so I have missed one of the very important part here. In 2017, I got placed into Byju's. So those who have seen my picture on SIT, it's true that I have got into Byju's, but I never joined Byju's. So Byju's offered us a package of 10 lakhs. 7 lakhs was base and 3 lakhs was on sales compensation. So I never joined Byju's. I decided, I spoke to, my closed ones. They said that, it's better that I would not, like, it was tough for me to make a decision that time, because I already had a job of 10 lakhs, and then, I'm going to write GATE, which is completely uncertain. But I followed my instincts. I trust the people who were around me, who were very supportive throughout. So I trusted them, and I decided not to join Byju's. I said them on January that I'm rejecting your offer. I'm not going to join. In 2018 February, I gave my GATE. Didn't got a very good result. Then I started looking for different. I had few of the people known, so they helped me in recommending into a data science internship at Prescriber 360 Solutions. So it was an internship for me. They used to pay me 10,000 rupees a month. I joined there, and within a month, so in March 2018, I was given a position of associate data scientist, junior data scientist. So I was still in my final year. I had not graduated, but the good thing was, before my graduation, I had a job. April 2018, I became an Intel software innovator, as I mentioned. So 2019, I got promoted to a data scientist, and I also won the world's first Intel AI Spotlight Award for one of my project. I will show it to you. And then I started writing a book, authoring a book with one of my co-authors. So after that, the journey is still there. I'm leading the AI team right now. I have published 5 research papers on AI, and in 2020 February, before this COVID situation, we presented our paper at an IEEE conference in Chitkara University. So there I received the best paper presentation award by IEEE. So it was a great thing for me. So that's in a nutshell my journey from beginning to end. Nothing much fancy. I've been lucky in many scenarios, but I've been a constant learner. I try to put a lot of effort on whatever I do. I was never from a very big college. I'm a SIT graduate, so this is not a this is not definitely something like a VIT or by SMIT or all those big colleges. So I'm from a very mediocre college. I never been to a very fancy school where I had a lot of things. I studied in a government school where we used to pay 500 rupees a month. The only thing that every day we used to struggle is that, who is going to get the extra egg from the midday meal that we used to get every day. So that was my routine. I was never into these computers and everything, from my school days. It was very normal. But eventually, as I started getting into it, I enjoyed it and I put my 100% effort on everything. So let me show you some of my pet projects. So this is one of the projects that is identification of pathological disease in plants using Intel distribution of OpenVINO toolkits and neural networks, where I would not go to the approach in a lot details. So this is the thing where we are giving an input of diseased images and trying to see that, if the computer is able to classify them. So this is a classification problem, and this is based on images. So this is not only limited to images, but this can also be done on videos, live video feeds or something like that. So our model was able to identify 5 different classes of disease. So this is one of the disease, blister blight, and then we have citrus canker. We have again citrus canker on leaf. We have late blight. You can see this is late blight. This is also looking like powdery mildew. That's why it is calculating powdery mildew. And then there is a accuracy given, that 70%, 74%. Apart from that, this is also powdery mildew. Then we have early blight here, and this is early blight, again late blight. So this is how I did it on my machine, and then later on I had to take it on an app. So I used something called as a TensorFlow Lite to deploy it on an Android device. So on your screen you can see I'm holding an Android device in front of an image, and it is getting those bounding boxes outside, like around those regions. Then I'm also a very big fan of natural language processing. So I did some interesting projects on this. The first one is I tried creating a sarcasm generator. Given any input text, our model will generate a sarcastic sentence out of it. So though I cannot be close to anyone, around this guy, but I still tried. So this is one of the things that I built. So this is when I give input that, Rishabh is good for nothing. The model said that Rishabh is good for nothing more than killing the enemies. Apart from that, I created, like, I didn't expect it. When this is the input, the output is I didn't expected a good guy to be so nice to me. So it's returning in a sarcastic way, that how we give the input, it is returning this. So I use GPT-2. GPT-2 is a wonderful library for all these kinds of things. And then tokenizers, Hugging Face tokenizer is being used here. Apart from that, this is also a work that I did. This is more of a sentiment analysis. So this is sentiment analysis on using BERT. So BERT is a model given by Google. Now we have Albert, Roberta, and all those things. So this is again transformer-based library that we have. So you can see if I give an input as a sentence, it gives me that, whether the sentiment is negative or positive. If it is negative, what is the probability of negative? And this is served as a flask gap. So this is very important. So you can see in this case, the input was, before he makes any purchase, Billy likes to do his research. He's so cheap. Among the entire thing, he's so cheap is something that is very, negative in a context. But if I just change, so from this one to this one, if I just change one thing that, he's very economical, you can see the positivity just changed, because being economical is good, but the model understands that being cheap is certainly, a negative sentiment. So again, we have different things here that, extraction on long sentences, how we do it. So this is a long review I have taken from Flipkart, and you can see the sentiment comes out to be pretty good from long sentences as well. Then also I have built a sentence classifier using BERT. So you can see it tries to say that whether a sentence is grammatically correct or incorrect based on any input. So these are some of the examples that I have taken. You can see the probabilities and whether there is whether the sentence is grammatically correct or not. This is something that really I enjoyed building. So I tried to build a conversational AI with a human context. So human context is something that is the scientists are working a lot on getting this. But on my screen, as you can see, the conversation, the system understands the questions pretty well, and it understand the concept context and try to give me some great answers. So this is again, a very fun conversation. I asked him different questions. So Convey is nothing but Convey is my conversational AI. That is the system, and I'm talking it and I'm asking questions. I was amazed to see replies like this. That I'm so happy for you, man. I never expected that. So this was a really fun experiment, and I really enjoyed working on this. But though there are lots of implications going forward, conversational AI can be offensive at time to many contexts. So definitely going forward in the future as well, we might not have human level perception when we are talking about conversational AIs, because I won't expect my Siri to be offensive on me. If I ask question, she should be replying it in a subtle way, in a nice way. Even a sarcastic tone from Siri is not acceptable. So that's why, we might not have these things going forward. So these are good experiments, but definitely we are not taking these things into productions. Future scope for all you guys could be, you can be a data scientist, you can be a machine learning engineer, you can even be a research engineer if you are more into research field. You can become NLP engineer or NLP scientist who only works on natural language processing and stuff like that. So that's it from my side for today. So I definitely expect that, I expect that you will start your journey soon. Even if you have not thought it immediately, start looking at the things, start understanding that how you can do it. Don't be like Munna Tripathi. All right, thank you. So you can follow me
Thank
on
you, Dada.
LinkedIn and Twitter, and I'm all open for the questions. My LinkedIn profile link, yeah, you can find it. You can search my name on LinkedIn. You'll probably find it. What kind of project we can do as a beginner? As a beginner, you can start doing projects based on, so for every machine learning problem, you need a data set, right? You cannot do any project without a data set. So that was a problem long back. But right now, all these data sets are available on Kaggle. So I would highly suggest that you can go on Kaggle, pick up a data set, and do fun experiments based on these. You can do NLP stuffs. So just like I have done, I haven't done something, I haven't built a, rocket. This is nothing a rocket science, right? I've built basic stuffs as my pet project. So you can find out those areas, and then, you can think that how you can build it. Sentiment analysis and all those things are very basic, and computer vision. If you're into computer vision, you can build a lot of those things. But for a beginner perspective, you should definitely go ahead and look at different data sets on Kaggle. So there are a lot of data sets there, so you can start getting into those. From where we can find data. As I mentioned, you can get all your data from Kaggle. Kaggle is a very rich source of data science, or all these datas and everything. So it's a very good platform from a discussion perspective as well. You will learn a lot from all those grandmasters and everyone. So it's a great learning curve altogether. Could you please share the book name which you suggested? Yes, sure. It will be there on the slide, so you can definitely go ahead. And I would suggest, as I mentioned, don't buy anything right now. Try to read the things from PDF versions. Those are freely available. If you are not able to find any of those, let me know. I can email it to you.
Hello there. I have one question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
What about the higher study in data science in India?
So higher studies, particularly you are asking something like a MTech in data science?
Is MTech or MS?
MTech or MS in data science, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So few of the things, let me tell you. Have you heard of the company Upgrad?
Yes, I have. I heard.
Yeah, so they have a course for MS in data science, I think from Liverpool, John Moore University or something like that. Or there are other institutes as well who give you all those things. Don't go with them. Don't go with them. They charge a lot, almost 4 lakhs, I think they will charge. And definitely that doing a MTech or MS from on campus is very different from doing it offline or online. Though we have these COVID situations and everything, don't go with them. If you really want to do MTech or something like that, do it from universities. So that's my advice. Apart from that, if you want to do MTech in data science, there is a program from VIT. I think, yeah, no, sorry, not VIT. It's from BITS. So BITS Pilani, BITS Hyderabad, all those have these specialized course. But I would suggest that, if you're really into masters, don't do a masters from data science only. Do a masters in computer science and have machine learning or machine intelligence as a specialized field. Okay, so in your dissertation or in your specialization, you can have deep learning, computer vision, and all those things. Do that way, it will be very much beneficial for you from a master's perspective in terms of industry, as well as if you want to go for further higher research, you want to be a research engineer. From that perspective, definitely it will be very helpful for you. So my advice would be to go for a master's in computer science and have a specialization in machine learning or something like that. Because from a research perspective, as you have seen in my slides as well, machine learning and data science are closely related to only from the business perspective as well. To gain the business perspective, you do not need a master degree. You need the industry experience. So if you are looking into machine learning research, then go with masters in computer science.
Okay, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Dada.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful talking to everyone.